Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a pretty awful rack, but I'll need to see what my opponent plays before deciding if I need to change. I've got Orphe, which gets rid of WF and Y. My opponent changes and I'm inclined to play this. 26 points is a decent score. The Q's only worth about minus 13. Pretty unsynergetic EGQ. But Orphe, especially with its 3 consonants, is awkward for my opponent. Not a great pickup. No Q or I for the Q. However, I do draw another vowel. So I suspect I can play through this. It would be nice to play off both G's. They don't go well with the Q. Nothing great on offer on this board. The square above the Y is slightly hot in that K, B and M can all go there, and F. Not really seen anything worth playing with the rack as it is, the board as it is rather. Great, only 17 for my opponent, and he's keeping the board tight, which is fine as long as I've got a weak rack. Now my D can go in front of EF, so I could play dog. My E can go in front of eta, and well, so I could play Ged. The E does not go well with the Q, so I don't mind burning that. 19 points, and it keeps the board quite tight. Can I do better? Nothing goes after AW. Ged does take an A in front. I'm not too worried about that. But can I play off more tiles? 19 points. Actually, this rack leave is, with the Q being worth about minus 13, 19 isn't very good. So, what I'm going to do is change. And I will keep SED. D and S have a slight dyssynergy because they both like going at the end of words, but the D helps the vowel consonant balance. Great. I draw a blank, and the rack as a whole looks bingo-y. I have deciles, which plays in row F. And I suspect I have quite a few bingos here. And the board is fairly tight. If my opponent bingos, it's likely to be in rows F or I, neither of which will get doubled. Now, I guess my maximum score is going to come via an overlap. So let me see what 7-letter bingos I have. So that's D scale. Possibly with an anagram. Not seen anything else yet. That's deciles and delices. I'm looking to see if they run over the top of te. Wow, I think, well, there is one here. It's, I think it's decels or seckled. Not too sure. Closed. Ah, interesting. So, opponent gets 65. He's opened a 9 timer. Do I have one? Well, not beginning un or n. What about beginning n closed? Yes. Fantastic. Now, can I get the C or D doubled? I don't think so. Is it worth spending time trying to do that? Probably. So with an N, cleansed. With an N. Not seen anything. That's enclosed. Okay, so no, but I'm delighted to have a triple. Enclosed for 140. Not a great pickup, but not a disaster either, because I've got iwi and kiwi on my rack, both of which will sort the rack out, and kiwi plays above ef. And I've also got kiwis, so I'm certainly playing one of those. I've also got kiwi and eta. So I've now got an 80-point lead, which is pretty good. Still one blank to come. The anagram of kiwi is wiki. I don't think that offers anything that I can't get with kiwi. Te takes nothing in front of it. Yo no longer takes an S after it. It used to. It does take a K, but I'm anxious to play off 2 I's, and I don't wish to keep the K with the M. So I'm not going to be playing iwi. Wow, another bingo for my opponent. Back-to-back bingos from him. Despite my triple, my lead has shrunk to just 10 points. Just seeing if kiwi or wiki plays parallel to elevator, and it doesn't. Fortunately, it still plays here for 29 points. Great. That's a nice looking rack. Orpi meant through an E. No E's available at the moment. What is available? I think it's main port through an A, which doesn't go. Can't see anything with the T. I think it may be protomin as well, or as an alternative to main port. Can't see anything with the O. What about the R? Well, both of those last two duplicate. Tiles on my rack. Still 3 S's to come. Elevator taking an S. Elevator also taking a Y. So my opponent has scored really well with elevator, and he's also opened up bingo lanes, column 13 as well as row O, plus all these floaters. So the board is suddenly wide open. I don't... do I have important through TA? Wow, I do. Yes, fantastic. Well, I hope that stays available. 14 minutes on my opponent's clock, 16 on mine. Wow, that would be great fun. Always nice to play a 9-letter word. They don't come up very often. Are there any other 2-letter sets I should be considering? Well, I guess all of these last 4 in elevator, but I'm not seeing anything through any of those. Now, what if important is blocked? Well, I've got mop, leaving trin, which is quite nice. Close to 30 points, keeps the score rolling along. I've got a 40-point advantage. it would be really good to get important down with all these. Another bingo by my opponent, and he's blocked important. Immensely annoying. And the new floaters he's provided are duplicates of tiles on my rack. He's 36 points in the lead. Wrighton takes a B and an F, so this board has become even more wide open. I still have mop. Do I definitely not have a bingo? Now what about this A? Okay, it's got to end in A. That's not going to work. I've got a choice between mop and pom. I'm going with mop because my takes a floater in front, takes a letter in front, an A. Pi doesn't, and I'm behind, so I want to keep the board open. So mop for 31. I do not draw any vowels, so I'm only 5 points behind, but I've got a poor rack. The V and the duplicate are the problems. Do I have anything through a vowel? I don't think so. So pretty irksome pickup. I can play Rev and Peer. Or should I play Vince and Elevators? Probably the latter, despite wrecking the rack, because the score will be so good. 40 points. Great, that stays available. My opponent finally gets a dismal score. Can I do better than Vince in this spot? No, I can't. So Vince for 40. Pretty good pickup given that I kept double R. Armature through an A. No A's available. I have erratum and matura. Do either of those play? Yes, erratum and matura both play column 13. Fantastic. My opponent may block that. Column 13 quite nice with this E next to a premium square. If he does, do I have it elsewhere? Just looking at the A front hook for MI. That doesn't work for me. I don't have anything in column 2. What about the floating I? Can't see anything there. I've got a 15-point lead. Do I have anything through an O? Can't see anything. Okay, well, I'm now on 10 to hooks, waiting to see if column 13 remains available, and it does. Fantastic. So erratum for 81 scores more than matura, so I'm going with this, even though I'm sticking the E next to a premium square, to the double letter square. So if my opponent's got the J or the Z, he can come back with a massive score. So do I want to do that? Is the extra score enough? 81 for erratum. $73. 8-point sacrifice. I think it's worth it. A J or a Z would be an easy 60 or 70 points. Fantastic. That's a well-balanced rack. I draw the J. It looks close to a bingo. Can't see one. I have Gelab in row B for a pretty huge score, although that may well be interfered with if my opponent plays in row A, which he's likely to be drawn to. I've got a B for Brighton, so I could play Jab or Job. Job leaving seal. Pretty good. So I've got about a 50 or 60 point lead, and I'm going to score well next turn. Still a blank to come, and the remaining tile's pretty bingo-y. However, the Q is unplayed, so that may be a problem for somebody. Well, but at the moment this U of Matura is available. Let me look at the scores for the score for Job. $41 points. Jelab 60. Wow. And if my opponent plays a 3-letter play, Jelab might still be available. 9 minutes on his clock, 13 on mine. And look at this, I've also got Jab, Jarat and Bow for a big score. For over 50 points, I think. Or nearly 50 points. There could be a bingo with this rack. It's a great set of tiles. I've got the ABLE ending. Well, I'm not seeing a bingo. If my opponent's got the blank, he may have a 9 timer, a triple. But I think placing the M there rather than the E reduces the likelihood of that. So where else can my J play? Well, possibly through the O. Maybe across a 5-letter play in row F. Can't see one. Do I have any other? Well. Let me try and get my words out. I have G-Lab in column 2, which is going to get the J tripled, and that's going to score a lot. $59 points. I've pretty much got 60 points in 2 spots. My preference would be row B to obstruct row A. But column 2 is a pretty useful backup spot. Opponent definitely taking a while with his move. He's only got 7 minutes on his clock. So I'm slightly inclined to play quicker. Especially as I've got my play lined up for next go. Try and put him under a bit of time pressure. G-Lab also playing in row D, making Ami and Bow, but for a much inferior score. Okay, so G-Lab has been blocked in row B. At 59 points. I draw the Q. I have an I to go with it. And I've got an A and an I. The A can be quite useful as well. And through a P, I would have Cough. Where are the P's? One's unplayed. And the other's not available. The U of Dumbo is available. Of Matura is available, rather. But I've only got Qua in that spot, or Quai, Q-U-A-I. S-H-O-O, not a disaster, because O goes well with H. But where's best for my Q? I've got an 80-point lead, which is good, but the remaining tiles are massively bingo-y, and this board is open to some extent. Row B, but any bingo there is not going to get doubled and is going to open row A. row C through the T of Matura. And the floating T and O of elevator is not actually that useful because they have to be the penultimate tile or letter in a word. Great, only 26 for my opponent. Have I accounted for all the U's? Well, there's 4 on the board somewhere. Dumbo, Matura, Outlearn, and Druid. So, do I play Quai? Is there anywhere massive for QI? Yes. There is here. Well, massive-ish. And what's nice is that it kills a bingo lane and doesn't offer much of another one, as well as obstructing the T. 34 points is a good score. The rack leave is worse than after Quai. 28 points, so it's 6 more points. Let me look at the remaining vowels. 8 out of 20. Okay, that's not a huge deficiency. Am I overlooking somewhere for the Q? Chi and Eta, not a bigger score. No, I think I'm going to go with this. And I draw the X, fantastic. So although this rack isn't bingo-y, it's a nice rack to have when you're about 100 points ahead. It means that you can respond to anything from your opponent, such as a bingo, with a pretty solid 30 or 40 point score. And I note I've got Ox and Yex and Joe for exactly that. 5 minutes on my opponent's clock. Only 11 tiles left, but they are getting bingo-y by the minute. Or second, or move. Something. Ox is good. So I could play Gox and Ox. So I've got Gox and Ox in column 13, and I've got Hox and Yex and Joe in column 3. Four minutes on my opponent's clock. 3 eyes to come, so he may be able to play a bingo through the T of Matura, or just ending I something. I've got Hoax on my rack, and that plays in column 3 for 1 more point. But sticking the H next to a double word square, I may not want to do that. 8 vowels left out of 18 tiles. Oh, well, having mentioned Gox in column 13, I do have Hox in that spot. 3 minutes on my opponent's clock. And again, I'm in a position where I can play quite quickly. What about this E here? Great, only 19 points for my opponent. Well, I don't have an E, which is a shame. I'm inclined to play here for 51. What would I have got down in column 13? I think the same score. Well, I think this is better. I think it makes... yeah, it takes out a bingo lane, I think. Let me play this. And I draw the Z. Fantastic. And just 5 minutes. Nope. Just 5 tiles in the bag. But massively bingo-y. Now, maybe I should have played Hoax to... no, it wouldn't have interfered with row C bingos. 2 minutes on my opponent's clock. I've just noticed Hox would have played in column 1. 49 points, not as many points. Maybe I've added that up wrong. Nope, 49 points. So Hox actually scores more in column 3, but it would still have been nice to have spotted it. What I have got is Cos in column 1, which is nice. Where else can my Z go? Well, I've got Zag in column 11, so I've been quite fortunate with these. In this game, almost every move I've had a pretty good candidate play, and it's just been a case of looking for a better one. That's often not the case. So 5 tiles in the bag, even more bingo than before with the abstraction of the Z. But where can my opponent bingo? Pretty much row C. I think that's it. Possibly through T or O. But a bingo through the T is going to score not very much. So Zag, over 50 points. Cos, about 50. I think my preference would be for Zag to obstruct bingo lanes. Zag also playing in column 4. Great. Opponent doesn't score very much, leaves this alone. And I'm going to play this quickly. And I draw the blank. Okay, so my opponent's got Spleeny Eye in row C. Not sure what else he's got. If he doesn't spot that, can I go out? Possibly. Just wondering if I have... Well, I was thinking of coiators, but that doesn't work through the T. Not too many 6-letter lanes. What about column 4? Let me just see if any 6-letter words come to mind. Cacaos. JOS not good, unfortunately. Now, MI takes an A, so I may have a play which plays in column D. Cacaos doesn't play. My opponent goes overtime. He hasn't spotted Spleeny Eye yet. In 1 minute, he'll forfeit the game on time. Koalas, and that plays fantastic. So if my opponent doesn't block that, he does. Is this worth continuing? I think it is, because column 4, Joel is good. Any other 6-letter lanes? I've got 11 minutes on my clock, which is pretty huge. TA also available for an 8-letter play, but let me see if I can find something which plays in column 4. I may be missing moves. So, do I have anything ending TA? Not that I can see. What goes after Joe? Beg L R twy. B E G L R T W Y. Okay, I was just mentally imagining the blank as one of those tiles. I think I'm going to give up on column 4. There's Geo. Can't see anything through that. What about a play through AT? You would have to end AT. That doesn't look likely. So, annoyingly, I don't think I can go out. I can play Ash for 30, leaving AO. So I've got Tau, and I've got Hoa, so I can go out. 30 points is quite a lot. I think I will play this. I haven't looked to see if my opponent can go out. He can. So, pass to end the game. And the final score, 412 to my opponent, 566 to me, a winning margin of 154 points, so a massive, massive win. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go fast. He changed. My rack, I played... Wow, what a miss. I played Orphy. I missed Wakf, which is a pretty horrendous miss. But as is the way of things, I was not punished for that miss. Okay, that's a bad one. Now, opponent plays Tay. I'm struggling, which I wouldn't have been. Things go right soon, but just right at the beginning, they weren't that great. So I played... what did I change? I changed. Yeah, and I like that. Opponent plays out earn. Now, enclosed was the only triple, so definitely the best play. Great comeback by my opponent with elevator. I have Kiwi at L14. Kiwi running beside enclosed for 42. Wow. And I play it for 29, so another suboptimal play. I looked either side of elevator, but not alongside enclosed. Opponent plays Brighton. No bingo here, and I play Mop. Horrible rack for my opponent. He plays Druid. And I've got 40 for Vince, which rescues a dismal rack. Opponent's rack, he plays Fiend. And now I have Erratum and Matura. So this was my opponent's rack. Would he have benefited from the E? No, he's got Bedouin on his rack. Let's see if that plays anywhere. It doesn't. He plays Dumbo. And I've got Jelab. And wow, Besiege Gen 1. Pretty good for 70 points. Burning the S. I prefer Jelab. And at this point, things go massively well for me. Just from here to the end of the game, it's just ridiculous. Opponent plays Yi. He's only a bingo behind, and the remaining tiles are bingo-y, but I draw well. So I've got Chi for 34. My opponent's got a rubbish rack, despite the niceness of the remaining tiles. He plays Geo. I have Hox for 51. Now, opponent has Neroles. Doesn't spot it, plays Nor. And I have Zag for 53. Now, opponent does have Spleeny Eye, doesn't spot it. Now, do I have an out? Nope, I don't. And Ash for 30 looks pretty close to being best. And then opponent does go out with Seal. So, a pretty exciting game. Very high score, high spread, good to win, and good to win by a big margin. Slight blot on the copybook, as it were, with a couple of poor misses, missing Whack and also something else, Kiwi, alongside Enclosed. But apart from that, a reasonable game. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.